Hey guys, it's Danielle K, creator of Naturally Rose and Isla Hand-Tied Hair. Okay, so I'm gonna dive into this video and we're gonna talk about some myth busters in the hair world. The dark secrets you may not know. Just kidding, it's not that dark, but I do wanna address a lot of content on this video because you never know what you're learning on social media, if it's real, if it's not. So I was like, you know what, I better do a video because I've had a ton of DMs, I've had a lot of emails asking me about Isla hair, different questions about it, what's going on with the tariffs, are we gonna run out of stock, where are we at with all this? So watch this video, I'm gonna jump into all the spicy topics, all right. So why does Isla hair stand the test of time? Well, not all hair is created equal, especially as brands grow. You may have seen a lot of buzz lately about startup hair extension brands trying to make a splash, but here's what they don't talk about: scalability and quality control. Isla is partnered with one of the largest extension companies in the US, the same group that owns over 10 of the top professional hair brands. This partnership gives us access to long-term factory relationships, consistent sourcing, and strict manufacturing standards that newer companies simply can't offer. While others are figuring it out as they go, we've already tested, scaled, and proven the hair with hundreds of artists nationwide. Isla isn't just another pretty hair brand, it's a professional grade, purpose-built, and created to last. So one of the reasons that I created Isla Hand-Tied Hair was I've been using hand-tied hair for 20 years, before it was even popular. And one of the biggest things that I noticed when I was using hand-tied hair is the bigger it got, the quality would go down, because when you're mass producing something like that, it's very hard to keep the quality. So in creating Isla Hand-Tied Hair, that was one of the things, is I really wanted to maintain that quality and that reputation behind the brand. So what I did is I actually partnered up with one of the biggest hair companies in the US. It's BIG. Now, a lot of you may have heard of BIG. They own the top 10 hair brands in the US. The reason I wanted to partner with them is because they had long-term relationship with multiple factories. So what I really want to talk about is, because people hear, oh, BIG, they own the top 10 lines, they're all the same thing. In the reality, they're not. They're all created completely different. I've had students take one of my classes and they've used one of the hairlines inside of the BIG family and they said it's totally different than the Isla hair, everything about it. So I want to talk to you a little bit about when I was creating Isla Hand-Tied Hair. Yes, I did partner up with one of the biggest hair companies in the US because I knew they had those relationships and connections, but also it gave me the ability to be the artist and create something I was truly proud of. So how I created it, I actually just went off of all the struggles that I had. One of them being consistency and quality. That's so important when you're investing in hair. Or a lot of times artists will invest in extensions, they'll invest in a system, but they don't even know what hair is being put in their hair. They just trust that the artist, has good relationships and things like that. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to really clear the air and talk about this. So inside the BIG family, Isla is one of the brands. And when I was creating it, I created it off of some of the struggles I had, which again was keeping the consistency and quality, but also it was a lot of different things. It was color longevity. It was, why is there so much silicone on the hair? It was, can we put more grams on hand-tied hair? Can we make it a little bit fuller? All these little things. So when I was creating it, I actually spent 2 years going back and forth with my factories, testing things like, hey, I don't like the return on this hair. It's too bulky. Okay, I want to add more grams per weft on this. Okay, now there's too many grams per weft. Okay, then they'd send me pieces where I'm like, this feels like it has too much silicone. I want more of a natural appearance. So I went through a 2-year testing process just in creating my line. So it is important that you understand that although Isla is partnered with a big company, it was custom created by an artist for an artist. So let's dive into what's the difference between, investing in Isla or another sister company versus private labeling, because you'll see a lot of that. One of the biggest costs in salons today, if you're running a hair extension salon, is the cost of hair. So as a business owner myself, and as small business owners across the US, it's where do you cut costs? So a lot of artists are looking into private labeling. So with private labeling, here's what you'll see. Private labeling might have 10, 20 brands, but they're all using the exact same hair and they're simply just stamping the private label on there. Now you might be able to pick different colors and things like that you like, but the reality is you might be investing in a hairline that's the same quality as 10 other hairlines and it's not actually custom created. Because I went down that route. I went down to maybe entertaining private labeling, but I really wanted something custom and unique to me. And I wanted to create it off of the struggles that I was having to create a phenomenal product, not only for myself, but for my artists and for my clients. So let's discuss another hot topic, which is tariffs. Now, 90% of hair that you purchase in the US is actually from China. So essentially, sometimes the hair that you're buying, it's not custom created, it's just private labeled. So what does this mean for you? Well, because I partnered with a larger company, we are doing our best. We're already steps ahead of the game to maintain that quality control and make sure that our artists have hair without increasing the prices outrageously. So if you're an extension specialist and you're already kind of seeing some things happen with your current hairline, I want to invite you to experience the quality and the longevity of Isla Hand-Tied Hair. So I want to talk to you really quickly about some of the benefits of Isla Hand-Tied Hair because, like I said, I created it off of my own struggles of using hand-tied hair before it was even popular. So in creating Isla Hand-Tied Hair, obviously as a colorist, one of the biggest problems is making sure that you have that blend. And the other problem is time is money behind the chair. So if we're being real, like you don't want to spend, there's big buzz on like, oh, I custom colored these wefts. But if you took 2-3 hours custom coloring those wefts, you know, you're actually losing money. When you compare with Isla that's already been custom colored for you, we've already done a lot of the heavy lifting. So my goal in creating that was a lot of my artists use it straight out of the bag. They might throw a toner on it, but that's pretty much it. A lot of it is already, again, pre-rooted, it's pre-toned and things like that. So I wanted it to be user-friendly for the artist. The other thing is I have very fine hair, but I want maximum amount of fullness. Now I can't stack a ton of wefts on one row or it's just gonna be too bulky. So with more grams per weft, you're actually able to get more fullness and less bulk. So for example, on my main row, I wear 4 wefts versus when I worked with hand-tied hair in the beginning, I had to wear like 6 wefts and it was very bulky and I felt like I had to have it tightened more often because it was a little bit heavier. Another advantage of using Isla Hand-Tied Hair is silicone. Silicone makes the hair kind of look a little Barbie-ish and when it wears off, it kind of feels a little bit rougher and I couldn't figure out why when I was creating Isla Hand-Tied Hair, why is there so much silicone? And what I found out is they thought that the consumers wanted this beautiful shiny hair so they almost made it look unreal. But the problem was is as soon as that silicone wore off, it really exposed the quality of what that hair was. So Isla, we really played around with the silicone ratio and we dialed it into where the hair out of the bag looks very soft and natural and does have shine, but it doesn't look like Barbie doll hair. Another thing that I was really passionate about is creating a really large line. So we have over 19 colors, we have 4 different lengths, and we have 3 different textures. So if you're struggling to get that perfect blend, it may be because of lack of inventory, or if you find you're constantly custom coloring, it could be because of lack of color options. So again, these are just some of the benefits that I created with Isla Hand-Tied Hair because as an artist, I wanted it to be easier but maintain the quality for the artist behind the chair. All right, guys, so that's it. So that's the buzz in the hair world. That's a little bit more information about Isla Hand-Tied Hair, why I'm passionate about it, and why I created it by an artist for an artist.